Streaming from Oklahoma's own digital studio, this is TU Football Update with Jeremy Poplin.
Hello everyone and welcome into the Digital Desk. My name is Jeremy Poplin. It is a privilege to be here with you on the verge of the University of Tulsa's football season getting underway, coming up this Saturday against ACU. Abilene Christian coming into town. Season opener, 8 months worth of work for Tre Lamb and his staff will be put on full display coming up on this Saturday night against a somewhat familiar face in Keith Patterson, who has been here before with Todd Graham, was actually the interim coach when Todd Graham left and went to take over the Pitt job. And Coach Patterson's done one heck of a job at ACU. This is a really quality team that's coming in. That lost in the second round of the playoffs last year. It took Texas Tech to the wire in the season opener in Lubbock last season. Tre Lamb knows that he will have his hands full with this Abilene Christian team coming in that has a lot of returning starters on defense and also some quality players on offense. We'll spend another portion of the week looking forward to the opponent on Saturday. Get some reactions not only from Coach Patterson, but also Tre Lamb's thoughts on the opponent as well. Today, I wanted to essentially run down what was press conference day for you and give you a quick recap of everything that we learned from the press conference. And I thought that Coach Lamb was full on display earlier today with the type of excitement and energy that we know that he's been able to bring to the program so far. And now just a few hours away, days away from kicking things off for the very first time, running out on that field, all of the changes that have happened across the university, whether that's the new turf, all the enhancements inside the Case Center. Things are looking incredibly positive for Tulsa football. Now it's time to put it all together on the field. So without further ado, here's Tre Lamb and some of his opening statements from today at the press conference. And you tell me after you watch this whether or not that this guy is ready for the season, including a breakdown of this previous weekend's games with paying special attention to the sloppy play that happened across the opening weekend of college football. Here's Tre Lamb from his press conference earlier today.
The thing I've talked to our team a lot about this week, this is first impression week, right? Like this would be the only game in the history of the Tre Lamb era at Tulsa where it's the first time. It'll be the only time our first impression for our 2025 football team gets a chance to show what we've done and our first impression out there on the field. Our expectation is to play simple, play fast, play hard, and play with our hair on fire and harder than anybody else in the country. And I've challenged our coaches to not overcomplicate it, fight boredom, do what we do best, do what our kids can execute through the first 8 months we've been here in OTA, spring practice, fall camp. Let's not overdo this thing, not overcomplicate it, and go play fast. You look at week 0 this past week, I had the opportunity Saturday. We had a scrimmage Saturday morning, and I was able to watch football all afternoon. In 9 games in college football, there was 5 muff punts, 27 turnovers, and 122 penalties. So double the turnovers that week 0 from last year. Last year was 14 turnovers. This year was 27 across those games. 5 muff punts and 42 more penalties this weekend than there was last year, week 0. So a lot of sloppy football was played on Saturday. My challenge to our team has been play smart, play clean, play fast, and keep it simple and let our guys execute. That's the challenge for our coaching staff, offense, defense, and special teams coordinators. We are not going to go out there and try to reinvent the wheel because it's the first game. We are going to do what we do and play fast. It's going to be great weather. Really encouraged by our fan base that has shown up in some of the scrimmages and shown some presence on social media. I expect a big crowd, great weather, first game of the year. Come out and see us. Come see what we have to prove, and I hope we accomplish things that we didn't even think were imaginable this season. Don't overcomplicate it. Like, we don't have to go trick them, and it wouldn't matter if we're playing Georgia, Abilene Christian, UCO, Oklahoma. Like, I want to set the standard of who we are. Like, I want an identity when we walk out of that stadium Saturday night. I want fans, family members, our players, our staff to be like, okay, these guys are pretty dang good at this, this, and this. They're going to make teams stop this, this, and this, and they're going to play really hard and really fast, and their players are going to know what to do. Like, that is my goal for first impressions. I want you to walk out of that stadium and say, man, those guys play hard, they play smart, and they know what they're doing. They look organized.
How do you anticipate handling the running back room and dishing out carries?
Yeah, I think it's going to play itself out through the year. You know, certainly Dom Richardson's a hammer, and he's been very impressive. Sevion's kind of does every job in the playbook. You could call any play with him in the game, and then BP's a terror on the perimeter in space. So we've got a play call set for all three players. AJ could be part of the mix there, AJ Allen. We got a young freshman I really like, Kelvin Washington from Longview, Texas, who has made a big impression in training camp. He's going to play this year. He's more of the BP style scat back, great pass catcher. So we've got to do a good job making sure we keep them fresh all year. We all know running backs, you can get a little tread on the tires, and they look different in week 8. I want to make sure that we're not overdoing it. Each guy should have his carries. I don't want anybody to be in the 30 carry range, but I could see Dom and Sevion getting up in that 15, 20 range, and BP getting in the 8 carries, 8 catches type deal. So that's kind of a three-headed monster right now with AJ and Kelvin being able to spell those guys.
For you personally, you've been here for 8 months now, but it all leads to week 1 coming up. How do you anticipate handling the emotions of an opening night at a new school?
I'm prepared. Like, I'm bored today in the office. Like, we've had this plan in for months. I mean, we started watching these guys in April, and the more I watch them, the more I want to put in and like, I got to fight it. Like, I want to make sure, like, we know what we're doing. Our players are in class all day. They're not sitting up there watching film like I am and our staff is. We're going to fight boredom. We're going to be prepared, and we're going to play our tails off. Like, that's the 3 things I can promise you. And I'm not going to be nervous at all. I let all the other coaches get puckered up and nervous. I think that's one of the greatest advantages you have when you got a young staff, and you're at a place like Tulsa. There's nothing for us to lose this year. We're going to be the underdog in almost every game. Like, we're going to go out there with a chip on our shoulder and go let it all hang out, and that's how we're going to coach and play.
We talk a lot always about the team coming together, but how about overall the staff, just chemistry that you guys have had to build now in this 8-month period? It's been great. You know, Tulsa's been great to us, and, you know, we got a bunch of young guys. We spent a lot of time together outside the office. Clint Roundtree took us up to the lake and during training camp for a good 24-hour break, and we spent the night up there kind of like a staff retreat with our full-time staff and wives. We had family dinner last night at One Oak in the facility. We'll do that every Sunday night. We got a lot of guys that are in the same walk of life. A lot of young fathers, young husbands, young kids, guys. I told the staff last week I don't want to see you in the office before 9 o'clock in the a.m. because it was the first week of school, and I want to give everybody an opportunity to take their child to school for the first week. And being a dad and being a father and being a good husband are going to all mean a lot more when you're laying on your deathbed than how many games I won. So we've got to make sure we do a conscious effort of being home first and being there for our wives and our kids before we're football coaches.
Love Coach Lamb talking about the identity, not only of the football team, but of the fan base as well. And that leads to a couple of concerns that Coach Lamb may actually have heading into Saturday night's game.
Coach, you talked about first impressions and first game. What are the biggest concerns, because there's only one first game, what are the biggest concerns going into a first game for a head coach?
Being too hyped as a team, like wanting it too bad where you can't take a deep breath, overdoing it in pregame warm-ups, fumbles, bad snaps, false starts, just unorganization. You saw the Kansas State, Iowa State game. They're just fumbling the ball back and forth to each other, muffing punts. I know the weather was bad, but like that kind of stuff just terrifies. That's where you lose sleep. All right, that's where you lose sleep. Just going and giving people short fields and giving people stuff is the big concern. Giving up big plays on defense, getting a post thrown over your head, getting a double move run on you. Like that Iowa State, Kansas State game was just like terrifying from a head coach perspective. It was all the bad stuff you don't want to see.
A couple of things. Number one, you talked about that and the number of turnovers and penalties and that kind of thing. How much, if any, of that do you attribute to the fact that every year these are new teams? So many new players, so many new guys. You've got X number of days to get those guys together and ready. And even though catching a punt should be catching a punt, you never know. And then secondly, you talked a lot about boredom. How do you fight it? What do you guys do? Do anything special? Or
one thing we do when we talk about fighting boredom is we have a very specific number of plays you're going to carry into a game. And if a coach has an idea and I like it, we get the first thing I say, all right, what are we taking out? All right, you want this one this bad, and you think it's going to execute in this area of the field, what are we taking out? Because you can only rep so much stuff during the week. So I'm very specific about the number of plays, and I think Lincoln Riley's a great play caller, and all the Oklahoma fans are going to crush me for that. But I think he's really good. Lincoln is not scared to run the same play 10 times in a game. The best play callers in the world know what works and is not scared to keep calling it. The worst ones have a Denny's menu and just pick a new play every time, and like, why didn't that work? Well, we only practiced it twice. So I think that's a key piece of it. What was your first question? The new players. Okay, so yeah, like we got 56 new players. First time they'll ever play together is Friday night or Saturday night. So yeah, there's a lot of that. I think that's a lot of reason football has gotten sloppier early in the years. I don't know how good we're going to be till week 4. Like, I hope we're 3-0 going into week 4. I have no clue what kind of football team I'm going to have until week 4. I've never seen a lot of these guys play. A lot of these guys starting for us have not played a lot of meaningful football. And I'd say there's probably less than 15 guys on our team that have started or played meaningful snaps on winning teams. So my biggest concern in year 1 and early in the year, can we win close games? I have no question we're going to be competitive. We got talent to be in games, and we're going to play hard and play smart enough to be in games. Can we finish tight games? Because we know we're going to be in 7, 8 one-score games. That's just how it is year 1. And would we love to get to the point where we're beating the crap out of people? Yeah. Is that going to be this year? Probably not. So we're going to be in a lot of tight games. Can we finish drives in the fourth quarter? Can we get stops in the fourth quarter? Can we finish half times? Can we win in those situations when, at the moment of truth, can we make the play? And that's what we got to figure out about this ball club.
Anything else?
Yeah, I know you had a few guys banged up, but how's the health coming?
Good. We've probably got 2 guys out for this game. Chris Thompson and Zion Steptoe. Zion's got a broken hand. He's questionable. Could play, could not play. If he wasn't a receiver, he would start. But Zion's got a broken hand. He broke it about 2 weeks ago. Hadn't practiced in a couple weeks, but we anticipated getting him back for this game. Would love to have him back. We'll see how he looks in practice this week. And then Chris Thompson out for the time being. He gets his cast off today, which is good news. He'll be walking around seeing how it feels. So if we can't get him back for meaningful games this fall, he'll get a medical red shirt and get him back for an 8th year.
One of the areas that we quite haven't learned a ton about yet, but will over the course of the season, is just how this staff works together during a game day environment. One of the important questions that I felt like that needed to be asked was situational football. Who's talking to Tre Lamb about a variety of different things, more importantly on the analytics side, and that's where General Manager Mason Behiel comes into play during game days. What is Mason's role during game days? And it's actually pretty smart from Coach Lamb implementing the past success of Mason in doing this very role at Fresno State the last 2 years.
I heard you mention this, so I think it's good to bring this up. Mason's role on game day, up in the box, kind of an analytical side of what you're doing, constant contact with you, but also paying attention to situations involving timeouts. How beneficial is it to have him up there?
Yeah, I mean, the way it works is I call the whole game on offense. Okay, Coach Robbins has a high influence on that, especially with in-game adjustments and 2-minute offense, situational stuff, because he's seeing it from the box. It's harder to see from the sideline. But I call every play on offense. Coach Reardon calls every play on defense, and every once in a while I'll get on there in critical moments and tell him if I want something. And then Coach Barfield calls all the special teams. And now we go over these during the week of what the situational calls are going to be. And if we want to fake one, that's my call. If we want to sky punt, that's my call. If we want to rugby punt, that's my call. But he's making the special teams calls. And then Mason's in the box with the analytics book. So he's relaying down information to me. Every time we get a new set of chains on offense, he's giving me, hey, 4th and 3 or less, go for it. 4th and 6 or less, go for it. 4th and 2 or less, go for it. So then I know as a play caller, okay, here's my train of thought on these next 3 downs. Are we going to get a new set of downs? Are we going to take a shot? And that really helps. And then end of game timeouts, he's going to tell me, hey, Coach, we got to get it under 2:22 to take a knee. Hey, Coach, we need one more first down. If we get the first down, the player needs to go down and not score so we don't get the ball back to the other team. Just stuff like that we show the team every week in cut-ups from our analytics company. And also it's great after the game when I got to go face you guys in the media, I can just say the analytics book told me to do it. So that's the great view of analytics from the head coach perspective.
I hope you appreciate the attention to detail that Tre Lamb and this staff is putting together so far and how that will translate over to the games coming up on Saturday. Much needed in today's version of college football. All right, before we get set to wrap up here on the very first edition as we go inside Tulsa football is the 2 Deep. That's right. In my hot little hands right now, the Tulsa 2 Deep, fresh off of the printer, and a few surprises here that I think that we need to get into, and we'll start first with that offensive line. Coach Lamb's been pretty upfront about 3 starters, and those include Jaquan Adams, Simon Wilson, and also Cam East. Cam is the transfer from Ole Miss, but we were wondering about where those other starters were going to come from, and now we have an answer for that. Now, let's just go ahead and preface this and say this is week 1. This will all be very fluid, but for week 1, the starter at left guard is listed as Sean Hill. He is the NC State transfer who has appeared in 6 games for the Wolfpack over 4 seasons. And at right guard, a name that you should be familiar with is Ender Aguilar, 6'5", 305. He's the redshirt senior. 12 games for TU last year, started 8 of those 12, the transfer from Cal in 2024. So there is your offensive line. At the running back spot, Dominic Richardson is listed first. Then it's Braylon Presley or Savion Morrison, who was just recently named captain as well. No surprise at tight end, Brady Foley. The wide receiver spots is Zion Booker, Micah Tease, and Mekhi Miller. Now to the defensive side of the football. On the defensive line, we have Byron Turner Jr., Ty Newhouse, also a captain, Nakai Johnson, who's been absolutely killing it so far through fall camp on the defensive line, and Ty Cooper. Linebacker spot, Ray Coney Jr., another captain. We knew that his name was going to be in the mix here, but here's the position where Chris Thompson had the injury just recently. By the way, cast off today for Chris Thompson. Josh Anglin is a young man that was brought in out of the transfer portal, but it's Will Alexander that gets the start. Anglin will back him up, at least here in the early stages. The other linebacker spot, Devin Robinson. At the cornerback spots, it'll be J.D. Drew and Champ Lewis. And then Linto Smith Jr., the transfer from Ferris State, will get one safety spot, and the other will be Zach Williams. And there you have it. There is the 2 Deep for the University of Tulsa football program, coming out just a few days before game number 1 on the season. All right, the attempt is going to be at least 3 of these weekly podcasts. We'll do a recap of the press conferences. We'll look ahead to the opponent with an opponent preview, and then we'll get some talking points as the season moves along at the midweek point and maybe answer some of your questions as well, all right here from the digital desk. Did I say question weird? Felt like that came off weird. We'll get to it next time. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next time on this digital desk version from Griffin Media. Rain Cane, everyone.
Thank you for watching this Oklahoma's own Digital Studios sports presentation. Stay with News on 6, online and on television anytime for the latest news, weather, and sports.